Okay, in this video, we're going to go over some very basic 9v9 positioning. 9v9 basically means there are 9 players on each side of the field. You have a goalie and 8 field players for each team. This is meant to be a guideline for new players of where you should be on the field at any given time. This will hopefully give you a basis of where you should be in each position, and then from there you can build off of it depending on the team you're playing or on different situations that come up throughout the game. 9v9 is played in the U11 and U12 age groups right before you go to the bigger field. So this is a slightly smaller field with slightly smaller goals and obviously having 9 players versus the full 11 players. So one of the formations that we play in this, a very common one, would be a 3-3-2. Formations basically just mean what positions we have out in the field. So in a 3-3-2, we have 3 defenders, we have 3 midfielders, and we have 2 forwards. 9v9 gives us a lot of options to be able to put in different formations. For example, we can have a 3-4-1. We always start in the back, so we have 3 defenders, 4 midfielders, and 1 forward, or even a 4-3-1, where we have 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 1 forward. But for this video, we are going to stick with a 3-3-2 and start from there. All right, so some terminology for new players. A lot of stuff is obviously new and you haven't heard this terminology, so we'll start from the basics. Just simply the right side of the field. When the coach tells you to go at right midfield or right defense, maybe you don't know where on the field to stand. So I labeled each of these positions. You can see right back, left midfield, and right midfield. How do you tell what the right side of the field is? Well, when your back is to the goal that you're trying to defend, and you're facing the goal that you're trying to score against, that right side of the field that you're looking at is what we call the right side of the field. So at halftime, when we switch sides, the right back is now going to be here because now he's trying to score against this goal. We'll move them all over here. They're trying to score against this goal, so their back is to this goal, which means the right side of the field is now over here. Okay? Put these guys back here real quick. Now you might hear a coach say, stay high. What they're talking about when they say stay high is they want you closer to the goal that we're trying to score against. So they might tell the forwards to stay high or get high, and they're telling whoever they're yelling it to get up the field closer to the goal that we're trying to score. If they say stay back, they mean get closer to the goal that we're trying to defend, the one with our goalie. So get back towards the goal that we're trying to defend. They might say pinch in. That means they want you closer to the center of the field. Whereas if they say stay wide, they want you closer to the sidelines. Okay? So now going over the positioning quickly. We have, let's start in the defense. We have the right back. I'm just going to get these guys out of here for now just to make it a little bit easier to show you. So the right back, their job is to make sure that the other team doesn't score goals. And they're going to go from the sideline to the center of the field, about from midfield to the touchline. So this area right here is where they will be most of the time defending our goal. The left back, same thing, but obviously on the other side of the field. And the center back is going to go basically from the goal box right there to the center field line. Okay. Now, as far as, a lot of times you'll see young players when I say don't go, stay in this area here, they're afraid to come this way. It's okay to break the rules. You want to know that this is your main priority and where you want to be mainly. But let's say, for example, that somebody beats our left back and then our center back comes over to help and maybe they get beat. Of course, this person isn't going to just stand here and let them shoot. So of course this person has to come over and try to defend, even though they're across the midfield line or halfway line here. But for the most part, they're going to stay in this positioning here. All right, so midfield is very similar. Again, look at these forwards out of here for now. The right midfield basically is going to control from the goal box to the goal box, from the center of the field to the sidelines. Lots of running, playing both offense and defense, covering a lot of ground. The center midfielder, this area right here, again covering lots of ground. And then the left midfielder covering this area here. So again, now we told you where to be, but if you have to defend and get into that box to defend, obviously you're breaking the rules we just said, but that's okay. As long as you know your main priority, you can go off that. Essentially, same thing when you're on offense. You know, there's going to be times when you are coming over here to cross the ball, or even times when you're in the box to try to score a goal. But a lot of your work is going to be in this area here. All right, now with the forwards, you can see that I did not label them left and right. This is because I don't like to give positioning to the forward. I want to see them overlapping, changing positions, crossing. But basically, they're going to control the offensive half of the field right here, and they're both going to control that. That doesn't mean they don't come back and play a little bit defense, but for the most part, they're going to be coming here. We talked about not having a left or right side. If this forward has the ball, it might be a better move for this forward to come over here to get that ball, which means then this forward can come over here and try to get across. So there's a lot more ability to move around on forward. But again, if the ball is coming back, we also don't want them to not come back because they think that they're just forwards and they sit up there. So sometimes they do have to come back and defend as well. Some of the common problems that we see with new players with these formations, one of the biggest ones is probably gaps between the lines. So we have our defensive line here, we have our midfield line, and we have our forward line. And what do I mean when I say gaps? Well, if the forwards are way up here, okay, and the other team steals the ball, that is a big gap right here that the other team can expose. So we should never have that big of a gap between our lines, which means that if the forwards are up there with the ball, the midfielders should be coming up, as should the defense. Okay, same thing here. If the defense is all the way back here defending, we should not have a big gap in the middle. Those midfielders should come back, as should the forwards. One more problem that we see, the right side of the field. This person here, let's say this right midfielder, might have the ball, might want the ball, might travel to the left side a little bit. That's okay, but it is leaving us exposed over here where we don't have anybody to defend and we also don't have anybody to pass to. So they always have to make sure they track back to the right side and again, stay in the area that they typically will be in. And with that too, the team should always be traveling together. So again, trying to maintain not having those gaps. We're going to shift as a team. Maybe that ball comes over here. The whole team now is going to shift together. Let's just leave it not shift for a second. And you can see that whole open path there. It'd be easy for a team to expose that, pass down here, and have a wide open area. Whereas if we are shifted, it'd be a lot more difficult to cross it all the way over. And even if they did, we would have enough time to then shift our entire team here. And again, if the ball comes over here, we shift everybody together. Okay, so this is some very basic positioning. It's meant as a rule of thumb. I hope that as you get comfortable in your positioning, you can build off of this and start to experiment a little bit, get them a little bit more adventurous. So maybe the defenders can start to come a little bit higher and get into the offense a little bit. As long as they know that their main priority is defending, they can get a little bit higher to help out with offense. So take this and learn it, and then build off of it and have fun.